I'm 20, gender is complicated, and the youngest of three, not including my half-siblings. I'm the only one who still lives at home, so I was my mom's primary caretaker when she was sick. If you knew my mom, she was literally the most interesting person you will ever know, no exceptions. And she had this very distinct look since the 80s that, in her words, always made people mistake her for a hooker. She will never not be my inspiration, and no matter who I meet, she will always be my best friend. For one of her birthdays, I dressed up as her in drag and did an impression of her, which she absolutely loved and asked me to do for every birthday, which she didn't get enough of. So when I did her eulogy in drag with that look, I was doing it because I thought it was what she would have wanted. I told my sister beforehand, who planned it, and she gave me the okay because my mom always didn't want everybody to be depressed. In all honesty, I didn't totally follow what she wanted because I ended up crying through it. I felt like an asshole because of the reactions I got. My siblings, my boyfriend, and my mom's friends loved it, but my aunt told me I humiliated myself and ruined her and her family's grieving, particularly my grandparents, who wouldn't acknowledge me. She said she understood my logic partially, but that I should have stopped when she made her sons leave. To be honest, I wasn't paying attention to her family at all. I was kind of a wreck. My father also walked out, but I don't really care what he thinks, and my mom would neither. I really believe I did what my mom would have wanted. But I also know funerals are for the living to grieve, and although my mom had a complicated relationship with her family, she wouldn't have wanted them to be offended while they were grieving her. I should have known I'd get that reaction, but I was so wrapped up in doing what my mom would have wanted. I know this is heavy to put on Reddit, but I've just been feeling guilty. My boyfriend says fuck them all basically, but it's not that simple to me. Not the idiot. If you think this is what your mother would have wanted, I think it's perfectly fine. If anyone was offended, they likely don't truly know your mother. Here, exactly this. Who is your mother would want you to? You knew her better than your aunt. I bet your mother would really love this. When my aunt passed, nobody was allowed to wear black. Her favorite color was purple, and we had purple cake and champagne to celebrate her life. She did not like sadness. To honor her, we did what we knew she would love, with her songs and a beautiful movie about her life. And when a friend of mine passed away in his culture, it is really a celebration of life with drums and dance and everything. It was beautiful. Of course, we had tears and cried a lot with both funerals. My mom is currently visiting from out of state. This is extremely rare, and we don't see much of each other. I'm worried my wife doesn't like her, but hope she would try to let the little stuff slide as visits are so rare. My mom is a big crier, and once she starts it, just gets hysterical, and then snaps out of it and acts dazed. To be fair, she knows we hate it, and does try to hide it from us if she is upset. But I'm not totally sure she can control it, as she has done it in public, at work, etc. Everything has been awk since she came, a bit awkward but awk. My wife wasn't feeling well the other day and left work early. My mom did not know about this and was in the kitchen cooking when my wife got home. She was video calling her husband, and in one of her full-blown sobbing fits. According to my wife, it was about 50% she is so bored here and 50% she misses him and wants to go home to him. She said one time we were sucky hosts and didn't say anything about us beyond that except that it is boring here. My wife snuck up to the room and didn't let my mom know she was home. She called me right away and was furious. She wanted me to confront my mom. I explained that I didn't think it was a big deal that she was venting her feelings to her husband. She didn't say anything personal or overly hurtful, and to be honest, she's allowed to be bored. She is allowed to be honest with her husband when she thinks she is alone. When I got home, my wife was clearly uncomfortable. She said my mom was in her room and asked me to confront her when she came out. I asked if my mom had said or done anything to her, and she said nothing beyond the phone call, so I declined. My mom's eyes were bloodshot at dinner, but beyond that, she was acting normal and being polite. My wife was cold to me all night, and when we went to bed said I needed to defend her in our house, and that my mom was bad-mouthing her and acting like an entitled guest and a spoiled princess. I told her she was overreacting, which was obviously a wrong move, and that my mom has the right to process her emotions and to be bored. Not the idiot, it sounds like your wife might be a little oversensitive and taking things personally. Does she get stressed having someone in the house? Because stress can do that to a person. Your poor mother, though, I just want to give her a hug. Has she had her hormones and thyroid and all of that checked? And poor you, caught in the middle. Maybe everyone could use an extra dose of hugs. If you're enjoying the video, drop a like. Let me preface this by saying I know it sounds weird, but I'm just entirely unsure about the whole ordeal. I, 21 maybe, work in a child care setting. We have tons of kids throughout the building that have dietary restrictions, be it allergies or veganism. There is a child in my room who has dietary restrictions that state that she does not consume gluten or cow's milk. My coworker, F, does not like this child's mom. She talks about how irritating and overbearing she is and how the child isn't even allergic. The mom has celiac, and contamination from her daughter can cause a reaction. The other day, while serving snacks, she served that child a snack that contained gluten. When I pointed it out, she told me to just let her have them because it didn't matter and she wasn't allergic. She does not act this way with any of the vegan or vegetarian children in the classroom. Only this child. So I reported her to the assistant director. Now she and our coworkers who are her friends are all mad and keep reminding me that the child isn't allergic and it wasn't a big deal. Not the idiot. It is not up to her to decide what this child can and can't eat. She has been told there is a dietary restriction and she needs to follow it. If she ends up being fired, she deserves it and has no one to blame but herself. Edit. Honestly, you're a tiny ah for your judgment bot response. You don't know that this has no health risks, not the idiot. Guess what? Even if she's not allergic, it's not anyone's right to feed the child something that the mother has instructed them not to. If she doesn't usually consume gluten, it can cause her some gastric disturbance. If you're enjoying the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I, 25F, am a smoker. I know it's a nasty habit, but it is what it is. The other day I was taking a smoke break at work and some guy, 50 to 60 meters, came up to me saying something like, "Is it worth it to slowly kill yourself with cigarettes?" He then told me about someone he knew who died of lung cancer. I was already having a bad day and I totally snapped at this guy. I was like, "Sorry for your loss, but did I ask? I obviously know that it's unhealthy, I'm not fucking stupid." He then gave me a face and said he was just trying to be helpful. I just said, "No thanks, put my cig out," and went back inside. This has happened to me before, and it's always older men. Listen, I know smoking is gross and very unhealthy, but I don't think it's some random person's place. Maybe I'm reaching here, but especially coming from an older man trying to tell a woman in her 20s what to do. I've spoken to some of my friends about this phenomenon who also smoke, and they were perplexed, saying they've never experienced this. This has happened to me 4 times that I can think of. I guess I was fed up with it and unleashed it all on this guy in particular. He also told my boss about it since I was at work. Lucky for me, my boss is super chill and just told me not to engage with the guy again. I admit it was very unprofessional of me to do at work, but I don't think I was in the wrong. Not the idiot, I dispose of smoking and would cross the street to avoid walking near a smoker. But I would never cross a boundary by lecturing a stranger about their life choices. Not the idiot former smoke in a woman. Although the gentleman may have thought he was offering you good advice, his friend may have recently died and he was grieving, but that doesn't mean any to you. It was inappropriate. He was out of line. Unsolicited advice, especially from a random stranger, is inappropriate.